year, we've been exploring about more than 200 rabbis already in this phenomenal series. And here on the date of the 10th of Sivan, Yud Sivan, it's the Hilula of a really great Italian rabbi. His name was Rabbi Yishma'el HaCohen, Modena. One of the great rabbis, born actually in English year 1723. He passed away in English year 1811, 2nd of June to be precise, in the year 1811. So we're talking about 123 years ago from the time of recording, naturally here in 2024. He would become the rabbi of Modena, and one of the great rabbis of Italy in his century where he was there. And he was famous for writing the Shut, the Zera Emet, very, very famous book. And now let's explore about the great Chacham's history of it, because much can be said within regards to the great rabbi. Okay, so he was born, as we said before, in the year 1723. So we're talking about actually just over 300 years ago from the time of recording. And it's actually interesting. He was actually born in Modena, which we spoke about before, to Rabbi Abram Yitzchak HaCohen, who was really, really great rabbi also. And it's very, very interesting. Had very, very much a lot of family that was with the great rabbinic heritage. Also, his older brother was Rabbi David HaCohen, who was actually also the rabbi of Modena. And already in his brother's lifetime, he was a leader in the large yeshiva and different small yeshivot inside the city. Also, Rabbi Ishmael actually was his successor, I believe, for a 30-year tenure, 30-year period, very, very long time, very prestigious position. Also, he was, which is very, very interesting. Also, 30-year tenure to be a leader of any place is a long time. And then afterwards, it's actually a very interesting. He as he was teaching inside small yeshivot, various yeshivot in the city, I believe his sister actually got married to another famous rabbi there, Rabbi Yitzchak Nonis, who was who was also one of the rabbis of Livorno. Also, Livorno had a very huge Torah and Jewish community over the ages, especially in the 17th, 18th, 19th centuries, I believe. Also, and after, I believe, his brother passed away, as we said before, he was then, as we said before, put as the head of the yeshiva in his place for 30 years. That was the 30 years he took over from his brother's position, and just to clarify within regards to that. Okay, and then it's actually interesting, he had a correspondence with the famous Chida, famous Moroccan rabbi who we've spoken about before, Harab Chaim Yosef David Azuleh, who was a great posek of halacha during that specific time period, which we've spoken about many times before. It's actually interesting. He wrote different great Torah books also, which we must expound on now also, including, there was a response of an essay that he wrote from, I believe that was connected to Naftali Hertz's Weasel, also, which was Divrei Shalom Be'emet, and which is very interesting also, which is Sidrei Halimudim Lialdei Beit Yisrael, for the children of the Israel also. It's actually interesting, he had correspondence also with famous Caesar, Caesar of Italy, Napoleon, he had a connection to, where Napoleon actually asked him sent 12 different questions for him to have, and invited him to a meeting with dignitaries. I believe there was going to be a gathering in Paris at some stage in time, but due to his age at that point in time, it was difficult to travel. He was able to answer the questions with a responser also, which was very, very interesting also. And he was also connected in this meeting to Rabbi Yosef David Zin Zehem, who I believe at that point in time was actually happened to be, I think, the chief rabbi of Paris also. Is very, very interesting also. He passed away himself. He was chief rabbi actually of France also, which is very interesting. So he had a very strong correspondence with them also. He did many different weekly sermons and answers in halachot, which got printed. Many of the answers of his different shailot and many of the sermons and poems that he actually did were preserved in handwritings in Hebrew and also in Italian, and was scattered around libraries all across the world. He wrote the great Torah book called the Zera Emet. In fact, he named it that because I believe he didn't have any children, if I'm not mistaken, so he called the book the Zera Emet because of that reason also. So that has to be also pointed out. Also, on top of that, one of his students happened to be Rabbi Yitzchak Shimshon, who was a great rabbi and a teacher in the city of Reggio in Italy. He was also the author of a great book called the Tikkun Yitzchak, also, which is very, very interesting also to point out. We can add other great things to him. He actually defined, he did a Hagdarat Grama b'Shabbat, which he was able, within regards to speaking about many, many different topics. And over here, part of one of his, he defined what grammar on Shabbat is, over here, which we learned about in Hilchot Shabbat also, and he talked about many different other important topics within the Torah also. But let's explore the printed books that he wrote, including Zera Emet, which this was actually a short, Shailot and Teshuvot, which was divided into 3 halakim. I think it was printed in Livorno, also in the year Taf Kuf Memvav, and then also there was also another book of the Zera Emet, which was actually printed in Livorno also. I don't know if it was connected to that, but that was also added on. Then there was the Shevach Pesach, which is a Peruch on the Haggadah of Pesach, naturally Passover, which is printed in Livorno, I believe in the year Taf Kuf Nun, and Safat Emet also. It's got the words Emet connected, which was a Drushim on the Parashat Shmuel, probably his weekly sermons. This was also printed in Livorno, also the capital place that really had a great Torah community in Italy. And it's Hilula here on Yud Sivan, the 10th of Sivan. Don't forget to light candles in the great Rabbi's memory, and I'll put a picture on the thumbnail of the video with regards to the book the Zera Emet. It's a very, very it's very well published also. I believe it also was republished also Zera Emet at one stage in time after the first printing, I think by the by an institute called the Machon Ahavot Shalom. Ahavat Shalom, actually, the Machon itself actually printed republishing of it also, which is very interesting. So I think there's definitely in print at the moment. I'm wishing all a great day. I'm recording this just before Shabbat. Wishing you all a Shabbat Shalom and fantastic day. Take care.